Hello. Okay, that looks good. Good evening. Just waiting for you guys to be notified. It says live on my end, but not too sure if it says it on your end yet. Oh yeah, okay. Hey everyone. How are you tonight? This is what we're painting. Surprise. Spooky painting for this evening. Geared towards the whole family to enjoy together. A nice little holiday activity, spooky activity there. So welcome. If you're new to the page, I'm Megan. I do free monthly live painting classes for you all, different type of events. Sometimes I do more of like towards children's or family. And sometimes I do more of like tutorial based, like for example, the last live that I did was a cloud paint night, how to make clouds. So I try to change it up and give a good variety to you all, and I'm appreciative of all of you joining me tonight or watching on the replay, and then just for being on my page. Thanks so much. So hello. I will go over the materials tonight with you all, and we will paint. Hello, little ghost guy down there, it's cute. So I have water, paper towels, I put in there the paint colors that we're gonna need. So I use acrylic paint, but you can use any type of paint, it's all good. So I have the 3 primary colors, so blue and red and yellow, because we can make lots of colors with those, and then black and white, okay? And as for the brushes, I just put on there something like smaller, medium, large, just a good variety. So literally I just have this pile of brushes, but mainly just see something kind of like, here's one that's a little larger, medium. These are filbert brushes, but they don't have to look exactly like that. It's a pretty common brush. And then, yeah, there's something a little bit smaller too, just for some detail, little detail spots. Okay, so as we go along, just use the comment box below just to let me know if you need anything. I'll also move along with the pace of our group live here tonight. And I'll just kind of look for like hearts or thumbs up to let me know that the majority of you all are ready to move on to the next step. So, and this is recorded too. So like if you can't stay or something comes up or whatever, this will be here for you just under the photos section. There's like a little tab. It'll say photos on my main page. And then you click like the arrow, and then down that it'll be like photos / and then a section for videos. So then that's where you're going to find all of like the past live classes that I've done. And I've been doing them since like 2020. Yeah, when the pandemic hit at that time. And I just thought if I couldn't do the classes with anybody in person anymore, then why not go online? So it was fun. And I loved it so much that I kept continuing that. So yeah, anyways. Oh, hi, Jenny. Nice to see you on here. All right, so I have a 9x12 canvas tonight, but it can be something bigger or smaller, does not matter. Or paper, whatever you got. I'm gonna move this up. That way I can put my example above it, just as a guide. So that's something there to give us an idea. The painting I make tonight will be similar, but just a little bit different. Yeah, and you can kind of customize it a bit too, like if you have space for 1 ghost or 3 ghosts, or pumpkins or whatever, you can always add or take away things, because in the end this is your art, so it's fun to create those ideas too. Nice to see you too. Okay, so we are going to use one of the larger brushes that we have. Okay, and I'm going to dip that brush into water and then tap it on my napkin so it's not like super soaked. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to mark out where these ghosts are, the moon, and these pumpkins, okay? Because once we've drawn where they are, then we're going to be painting the background. So it's a little bit different than some of the lives I've done before. Changing up a little bit on you. Okay, so we're going to make a darker color first. So we're going to be using blue. So we're going to take some blue and scoop it somewhere on your plate that you have space to mix with. Because once you put blue somewhere, you're going to take a little bit of black. Just kind of a little scoop. So there's definitely more blue than black because black is very strong. You mix that in together. You're just looking for like a dark blue, like a navy color. Okay, so there is a darker blue. It kind of looks black in this lighting, but I know it's not black. So there we go. You can kind of see. Oh yeah, you can see it when I turn it that way. Okay, so it's just a darker blue. Stir it all up and make sure you have it on both sides of your brush. New York, welcome. Oh, hi, Barb. Thank you. Spooky night here. Okay, so let's mark out where the moon is. Okay, it's a full moon, always on a full moon. It's kind of crazy out there. So we're going to make a full moon. Thank you. It's called a Halloween instrumental. And I don't own the rights to it, because Facebook will want me to say that. Okay, so let's mark out a circle here. It can be as big as you want it, or as little, but I'm going to start small, because I can always make it bigger later. Easier to make it bigger later if I needed to. Okay, so that's the moon. Okay, once you have the moon, we're going to draw the ghost. So, just putting a little bit more paint on my brush. So this ghost is kind of swooping in, and this one's maybe trying to run away. So I'm going to use, you can use a smaller brush here too if you need to, so you have better control, by the way. Oh, hi, Lydia. Okay, so we're going to come in over here and just kind of draw this ghost shape. So it's kind of looking like this little curve, okay? So that's the part I'm drawing, is this little curve spot. It's a long curve, it's going to come down. So he's upside down. So he's going to come in, and he's going to kind of dip like this. Make a head, kind of looks like a worm, maybe, and then connecting it. So it's like a kind of a circle shape here, and then it connects at the end more of a point. Thanks. I know, I love the ghosts on it. The ghosts are just so adorable. And if you have a pencil too, by the way, you could totally use a pencil. Sorry if it's too late if you've already applied paint, but just for the future's sake, because this is recorded, so you could always do it again and again all you like. So okay, so then after that ghost, I'm going to use this section. So if you have any space here, okay, because this guy has his head over here, he or she head's right there. So I'm going to make the little head part first. Okay. Kind of like that, just a, kind of looks like a rainbow shape. Once I do that, that's when I can draw this body, kind of twirling it over here, and then I'll connect it. So this one, this body part, the end of the ghost kind of comes out a little bit out further than this one. So something like that is good, as long as you have your ghosts in there, and they can be bigger or smaller, because all these spaces that we're drawing right now, these are going to stay white, and we're going to put white paint on them later, and then we're going to be able to fill in our background color soon. So what we're going to do now is also mark out where the ground is. Okay, so we're going to look down here, maybe about 3 fingers, 2 to 3 in height, above the bottom of the canvas here, just to kind of mark it out. I'm going to make just kind of like a bottom here, so maybe like a little hill, or it can just be like flat, just something like that, because that's the bottom of the ground. Okay, and then once you've marked out where the ground is, that's when you can draw in where the pumpkins and the grave is. You can see what fits down here. Like I said, you could put more pumpkins or something if you wanted. Okay, so I'm just going to do the two. You can make them big or small. So I got pumpkin 1, and maybe I'll put pumpkin 2 down here. Kind of planting it in. This one kind of looks like it's sitting on as like a rock. And then that grave is just a taller one. It can be flat at the top or it can curve. There we go. And then that's our drawing outline. And I'll just leave that there for a minute. Let me know if you need any help. I will try my best from where I am. It'd be cool to be there with you though. And you can keep this brush still with the paint on. You don't have to clean it, because then we're just going to, so maybe if you ran out of paint, you might need to make some more with the blue and a little bit of black again to make the dark blue. And then you would just get your paintbrush ready, because once you have this, you're going to be filling in the background part. Okay, so let me know if you're ready for that. And then I will show you where to fill it in. Hope everyone had a good day. All right. So I still got that covered with the paint. So now I'm going to be leaving this white. So this is white, this is white, this is white. We're going to leave this because that's going to be white, and then we'll put orange on it later. So it'll be orange and gray. Okay, so we're going to be painting in these colors, this background. So we're going to start at the top. Just kind of swoosh it in. Kind of swoosh back and forth here. And we're going to fill in all of this area. So I'm going to kind of mark it out, okay, just like that, to show you where to color it in. So think of it like a coloring book. And between the ghosts. Okay, so that's all the areas to fill in. Awesome. Oh, family time, daughter and me. I love that. So much fun. Okay, so yeah, and then I'm going to just fill it in. And I kind of like swish it around a lot, so if I go back and forth, and then sometimes I go back and like dab, if I see any of those like little white spots that come through from the canvas or the paper maybe, you can dab on those spots with some paint, and then you could always swish it on top and smoothen it after. And another thing I do is sometimes I dip my brush in water and then stir it in with the paint. And that helps the paint move a little bit better for me too. I'm actually needing to make more, so that's what I'm doing. There we go. And then if you go over your line a little bit, it's okay. Because we're going to be putting white here anyways, so try your best to stay around your lines, but if you get in there by accident, then you can just put white on it after again. Because my ghost isn't completely white. It's going to have a little bit of blue in there, and that's fine. And some ghosts, maybe they're different colors. Who knows? I haven't seen a ghost, but maybe you have a friendly ghost. Okay, so just outlining it. And then if I see those white spots, I just tap it and then swish it. Tap and swish. Thanks, Deb. I try my best because I try to think with the teaching online, especially, like as if I were there with you. And from just based off experience of having classes in person with people, I could just kind of think about what could be happening and try to direct it. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah, thank you. Anyways, thank you. If you put on the paint a little thicker too, it's going to prevent those white spots from showing up as much. And it's also going to help fill it in nicer. Because so as you get down here, up here is probably going to be drying on you, which is good. But you might see when it dries that maybe it's a little bit kind of see-through, or maybe there's a spot showing. So you would have to go back to just put a little bit of the blue back. But I avoid that by just putting on a little bit more paint on my brush, so then it can dry easier. Or cover easier. It just takes a little longer to dry, is what I was going to say. You can paint the sides of your canvas too, if you have them, like just on the outside of them. Another thing I was going to say about this, I forget. That's okay. I'm going to give you a little tip. Oh yeah, I was going to say, if you see like kind of like build up spots, so if they look like thicker, like a chunkier spot or something where the paint's just looking like it's like a clump, then just go back, like maybe wipe off some of your paint on your brush or tap your napkin, and then just go back on top of that just to smooth it out a bit, so then it looks more blended and it'll dry faster that way too. So usually I'm all over the place, I'm kind of down here, but sometimes I go back up and I just kind of recoat it, and that helps to smoothen out any of those spots that could be there that are thicker. And I need to make more paint up. Maybe you already did. Definitely running out, so I'm going to make up some more. Something similar to the color anyways. If it's a little different, it's okay too. Need to get my edge up there. Yeah, and then you can do the sides too. I'll do those later. Like a big coloring page. There we go. There we go. So how are you guys doing? Maybe you're done, maybe you're not. Depends on the size of your canvas or your paper. Some people could be painting on wood or rock. Who knows? You can paint on anything really. With permission for kids. Okay, now I'm just kind of going, I have that all filled in. And I'm just kind of looking at this overall just to see if there's any spots that might be needing a little swoosh of color again. There we go. So that looks good. And then I'll just put this brush in the water. And I'm going to A good way to clean your brush is if you take your brush and kind of dab it in the bottom of your cup. And then I kind of like let the water fall back in. And then I tap it on my napkin. Okay, and that way it's all clean. And then I just dry it off a little bit so it's not like dripping. Because then if your brush is too wet, you're going to get those water drips. Yeah, so next we're going to paint, we're going to do a little bit of white and the ground. So we're going to do white first. So make sure your brush is cleaned right off, or just grab a new one if you have another one around that you can do. Alrighty. So we're going to be taking this cleaned off brush, just using a little bit of white. And I put that on there on both sides. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be going to my moon. And see how around my moon I have some like light blue happening around there? That's what we're going to do. We're going to make it a little bit brighter because the moon is bright. Okay, so I'm going to be starting off in the middle of this moon. Okay, so it's white in the middle. And if I touch any of the other color, that's fine. So what I'm going to do is right on the outside of my moon, it's going to get a little bit bigger. Because now I'm going to spin around this moon. And I'm going to twirl it around and make it like a light coming from the moon. So I just went around the moon. You can spin it all in one direction, or you can take your time and do a little section, just little curves going around it. Because the paint underneath is still a little bit wet, you're going to get a nice light blue, which is awesome. And that makes your moon so bright. And I'm just cleaning off the brush because I'm going to freshen up my white in the center. We could always do a second coat on this moon because it might turn blue, and that's okay. Because the moon does have a shadow. Okay, so yeah, my moon's a little bit of a light blue, but that's all good. I'll just put some white again after once it dries a bit. I'll put a little bit there. So yeah, as long as around here is brighter, to show that there's some light in the sky. If you wanted to extend it out a little bit more, you could. Just think of it as the light expanding. Hi, Jennifer. Oh, yeah. No worries. I'll have it recorded. Awesome. So you can clean your brush off again after you've done the moon and the moonlight. And we'll put a second coat on that after again. Sometimes I take my finger too, and like if I see a spot that's kind of not blended, I'll just twirl my finger around it, by the way. That helps. And what I mean by not blended is it'll just kind of look not smooth, like kind of chunky. Okay. So now we're going to do that with the ghost. So we're going to take the white on the brush that's cleaned off, and I'm going to be putting some white right inside of my ghost. So it might have a little bit of blue in there, and that's okay. So just try to stay within your line of what you drew. If you go a little bit past it, that's okay. You're going to end up getting a little bit of blue in there, but that's what makes a shadow, because I don't think that just white would work. Because there's always a shadow. So I'm going to bring it closer so you know what I'm talking about too. See? So I just have, if I go right on the edge, I'll get a little bit of blue in it. Maybe just on the side of it looks cool. Yeah, that looks cool. Sometimes I just wipe off my brush on my napkin and then just refresh my white instead of having to wet it all the time. I'll do the same with the other ghosts. You can tap them in too if you want to tap the white. Wipe off your brush if you end up getting too much blue. Or just be careful, maybe start in the center and then go closer to the edge after. Just gonna fill in. You could always put a second coat on these guys too. So it's all good if they get a little blue. No need to be sad. There we go. Spooky. Okay. So we'll leave that in case we want to go back to do a second coat on that after. So I'll clean my brush off again. Just put my painting back up there. Okay, so I'm cleaning it all. Alright, so now I'm going to be taking, we're going to make orange. So we're going to fill in those pumpkins. So we're going to have some yellow plus red first. So we're going to take a scoop of yellow, put it somewhere. Part of the red, stir it around. Looking for a pumpkin orange. So it can be a dark orange or a light orange. I find you usually need a little more yellow than red. So I'm just adding a little bit more yellow at a time here. There we go. It's starting to turn orange now. There's my orange. Okay, and what I'm going to do is actually add a little bit of white. Just make sure you're not near the blue spot. Okay, just stick to the white in the other part. Or if you need new white, do that. Just add a little bit of white and it helps the color pop out. See that? Maybe a little more. There we go. Voila. Okay, so now that I have my orange, that's when you can do your pumpkins. So this part you're going to want to be careful around the blue. Mine's actually dry mostly around there, so it makes it a little easier. But if it's still wet, just try not to touch the side. There's always second coats though. So. Here we go. So I got one orange pumpkin. And I'll get another orange pumpkin. If you wanted another pumpkin, you would just have to put white first and then the color once it dries. Just so you know, you'd have to make sure that this is dry. Put your white, let it dry, maybe another coat of white, and then orange. So that's why I drew it all first, because then it's just a lot of steps. But it's not impossible. Okay, so I got my orange pumpkins filled in. Okay, so I'm going to put that brush in the water. Let's put the ground in. I'll give you a minute there too, no worries. Oh, there's my drink. I'm going to grab a little drink. Let me know if you have any questions too. Okay, so we're going to do the bottom. I'm still using the same brush, so just a medium or smaller brush. But throughout this painting, if there's a different brush that you want to try that's smaller or bigger, whatever you like, try that too. I like having a variety of brushes with me so that I can pick something else if that brush just isn't working, you know? So I'm going to take that brush that I cleaned off and just get black only black. I'm going to be putting the ground in now. So just be careful near my pumpkin, but I'm going to be putting my ground in underneath. And that's just black. And I'll fill that in down there. And don't forget your sides if you're doing the sides of the canvas. There we go, got the bottom filled in with black. Sorry, making my camera move. Awesome. Well, don't clean the black off when you're done with it, okay? Because we're going to make gray. We're going to fill in the grave. So, to make gray, all you gotta do is add a little white to your black. So, I already have black kind of here, so maybe I'll just take a new white area, one of these corners, and I'll add some white. I'm just stirring in part of that black and looking for a gray. So it can be darker or lighter, kind of like a gray that you like. I like a medium gray. Pumpkins, moons, ghosts, love it. Okay. So now I'm going to take this gray color and I'm going to start to fill in my gravestone. There we go. I don't know if I like this one. There we go. I'm going to fill that in. I just kind of go from the top to the bottom here, whatever way kind of works for you. And if you need a smaller brush, don't worry about getting one out. Just if you have one, you can grab one and use it too. Sometimes your grave gets bigger and that's okay. Grave's easy to add another gravestone if you did want. If you had space, you could put another one in. There we go. I just added a little white to like brighten it up. Underneath the grave on the ground, I'm just making a little bit of a light shadow because the moon's bright, and so it's going to kind of shine a little bit of color down there. So I'm just going to do a little bit of kind of gray swoops underneath. So I'll bring that closer for you to see. It's just a little bit of gray lines on the ground under this stone. Just like a shadow. You can do actually a little bit under the pumpkin too, just to show that there's shadow under there. Thank you. Awesome. Okay. So, I'm going to clean that brush off. We might see what our white's doing up here, if it's dry or not. So mine is, because I want to go over some of these colors here. If it's not dry, you'll know it's dry because nothing's coming off onto your finger. This one I didn't use, but this one I did. So just one of the fingers there to test it. You also know because it's not shiny. Okay, and yeah, we'll freshen up the white and then we'll kind of decorate. We're also going to put a little tree in and stuff too. Just wanted to give it a little bit more time to dry because it works easier that way. But you can always use something to kind of fan it. So like if you have an extra plate, just give it a little bit of a fan if it needs to dry. And maybe we'll give it another minute just in case your moon's not quite dry yet and your ghost. we're going to put fresh white back on there again. So you want to just put out new white if you don't have some already on your plate. And if your water at this point is like really thick or looking kind of yucky, feel free to go and change your water too. And then we'll come back and do a second coat on the white and some more detail stuff like trees and grasses and faces. So let's give it a minute or two. I'm just going to make sure my brush is nice and clean. I might even get out a new brush. I'm going to use a new brush. I can't wait to see the pictures after. It's going to be so cute. Okay, sorry. Shakes whenever I touch it. I'm just looking at the comments. Make sure I'm not missing anything, because sometimes it goes so fast. Okay, so yeah, just make sure you have fresh white. Your water's cleaned if it needed to be cleaned. And then we're going to go over the white and make some cool faces, and yeah, I'm excited. Okay, so I'll go ahead in case people are back. I don't know, but we will, yeah, we'll put a stem on the pumpkins too. Yeah. Okay, so let's go over the white. I just put white on my brush with fresh white, nothing else around it. And I'm just going, you can tap in your moon or brush it in. Sometimes I like to tap first and then brush it in after. I just find it shows up easier that way sometimes. There we go. There. Moon. If you need more white on your brush, go ahead. You can do the same on the ghosts. Just freshen them up. A little bit of blues on there too, that's good. Just so it does show some shadow. So I might leave the blue on like the side of it because it shows some shadow. Because it's going to be brighter here because the moon is so close. And it doesn't have to be completely white still either. We're just doing a second coat just to freshen them up. There we go. And some on this one too. Just trying to get some of the edges. Sometimes your ghost gets a little bigger and that's okay too. Okay. Left-hand painter. So I'm actually right-handed. I think our camera's swapped. Like the screen does that on there. I don't know why, but I should try left painting one time. I feel like I would not be very good. Painting with the opposite hand. That'd be fun though. Okay, so these guys are freshened up. Moon's freshened up and bright too. A little bit more there. I'm trying to round that out at the bottom. Yeah. Okay. So now I'm just going to clean off the brush. I'm going to get my orange out again. If you still have it handy, mine's still here. My brush was cleaned off. I'm going to add a little bit more yellow into my orange, just a tad, just because. Okay, so I'm just going to go over my orange a little bit, because I'll show you why on mine. Maybe that's happening to you too, I don't know. But right here, see how there's like some white showing because I was trying to stay away from the blue because it was wet. Well, now it should be dry. So now is a good time to go over a little closer to that area and cover up some of those little, kind of if you have space there or something. Just touch it up a little bit. Put on your pumpkin color again there. Oops, I got a little black in there. Well, I'm going to roll with that. Sometimes happy accidents happen. So, that's just from the bottom. I forgot to say, be careful at the bottom, so. But I'm going to call that a shadow. Okay, and then same thing here. You can just kind of touch up some of the blue. And of course, if you didn't like that and that happened to you, just let it dry and then go over it again. Okay, so I'm just going to fill that in. So be careful around the black, because the bottom wouldn't be dry. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so first stem, clean off your brush. Okay, clean it right off. Maybe get out the smallest one if you're not already using it. I'm going to get the smaller one. Okay, and just some black. If it shows up or not, we'll see. I can suggest a little gray if it doesn't show up. Okay, so you probably can't see mine, so I'm going to put a little bit of gray stems on mine, just so you can actually see it. But whatever color shows up, whether it's black or gray, is something that you can see the stems. Okay. Yeah. Don't want it to get too spooky. Okay, and now I'm gonna mark my gravestone here. So, grip is usually kind of what they write, sometimes like rest in peace. So it's R.I.P. If you don't know how to write, or maybe you're learning that, you can just do some like squiggle lines on it just to pretend like it's writing. So you can do like kind of like wavy lines or straight lines on your stone. Yeah, of course you can watch this later. I'll have it on under the photos section. There's a video section on the main page, and then you can watch the replay later. And then bring this closer. So I put little lines there just to kind of show that there's like writing. If you are doing the letters, you can just go R, I, and P. If it's too tricky or not enough space, then don't worry about it. And then I did actually outline my gravestone here, like with just some black. If you want, you could do that. Helps it pop out. There. Aw. Yeah, the ghosts are fun, eh? So random. They make me so happy, these ghosts. Okay. Now, let's make the eyes and the mouths on the ghost. Okay, we're going to come back with the pumpkin and make their faces. I just want the orange to dry a little bit more. So I'm going to dip into my black. And I'm going to put the face. So this face is going to be upside down. So basically, as you see, there's 3 circles. Okay, so maybe the eyes are a little smaller than the mouth, or like this one, they're all the same size. So it's kind of showing you what size these circles can be. But if I do my upside down one first, I would do the bottom circle, or the top circle here, which is the mouth. Okay. It's just kind of like, ah. And then the ghost eyes are under it. Another trick you can do too is you can actually use the back of your brush. So if you literally have the bristles, then you flip it over and just use the back and dip it into the black. You can do the mouth and eyes that way too. You just have to kind of do this with the bottom to make it bigger. And you might have to dip a couple times because you'll run out of paint. Those are just two ways you can do the ghost. And if you have a different face than mine too, feel free. I'm just going to use the bristle. Oh, they have faces. Okay. So fun. I love it. Can't wait to see yours. Okay. So let's make our tree here. We're going to make the tree. And we're going to go back to the pumpkin, and we're going to add in some little grasses and stars. Okay, so a couple more steps to go, and I'm sure you guys are doing great. So now I'm going to take black. And it's the same situation here. If it doesn't quite show up, you're going to want to add a little bit of white to it to make a gray. Okay, we'll see what comes up here. So I'm going to have my black tree kind of grow up from somewhere around the grave. Okay. So I will bring this over. So I've marked it out just so you can see it better. So somewhere under the moon, it's going to come up and a little bit of a distance in the grave, just somewhere around the middle of moon and grave. And you're going to come up and you can make the tree grow underneath the moon here. And it's always going to be a little bit wider at the bottom of the tree than the top up here because it's branches to support. Using a small brush is good, and you can just use like the edge and light pressure. So don't be pushing hard, and just do light pressure here to get these branches to come out. They're kind of like little like letters, right? Like letter V, just growing there from anywhere. Sometimes you have a branch and you grow another V on it. You can put as many or as little. I would say at least 4 to 5 of them. Or your age. I'd have to have a lot more branches though for my age. Okay, so there we go. See, I can see that a little bit for sure. But I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do, and I'll still give you time. There's no worries there to make the tree. I'm just gonna show you what we will do is just so this tree does stand out better. Is you're just gonna tap the edges, like the side of the tree, with some white, and it'll turn gray automatically for you, but it's just going to give the tree a little bit of a pop just on the outside of that. See how it makes the tree stand out better? So if you're still working on the tree with the black, that's a-okay. And then you can just take a little bit of the gray or white, whatever you have left there, and then you're just going to pick one side and put some white on there. White or gray. And then it will turn gray regardless. And it just kind of helps that pop out. If you have a really small branch, don't worry about putting white on it. Because it'd be too tricky to get into those spots. So it's easier to just put it on the thicker spots where the light will get to more. I did it on the side closer to the moon here, but if you did it on there, that's fine too, because it's all about just showing where the light is. So cute. Okay, perfectly stands up there. Alright, so I'm going to clean that brush off. I actually have a little bat at the top. You may or may not see him. But I did put a little bat up here. See him? So we're going to do that too. It can be like a bird or a bat. I'm just going to take my black only. And let me know if you need a second too. I try to remember that even though I'm not with you, I am at the same time. So yeah, kind of give a little highlight of those tree branches. And then we will put a bat in. And we'll go back down to the pumpkin and put a face in. Okay, so I'm going to bring this one closer just so you can see it. So we have our bat up here. So it's basically we're going to make like a diamond. It's kind of hard to see because it's so little. Basically it's like a little diamond and then you just put some wings on them. We'll put eyes on them after too. I'll bring mine closer. I feel like that'll be easier. Okay, so I'm going to pick a spot in somewhere in the brighter blue area. And I'll put a diamond. Or like, more like an egg-shaped diamond. Little points at the top if you can. Just use the edge of the brush. Very edge. There. Oh, hey. And then I'm going to spread the wings so they can fly. So I just kind of take from the diamond part in the middle and swish it out that to the side to make the wings. I'm just thickening up that part. So that's it at a distance, and that's it up close. It's a little tricky to see because it's kind of like a hidden bat, but it's out there. Okay, now flip your brush over. Use the back of the brush. Make sure it's dried off if you already used it earlier. Just wipe it off clean on the paper towel. We're going to tap into yellow. And just use the back of the brush to make the eyes. Just tap and tap. Voila. There we go. Maybe the ghosts are scared of the bat. Cute. Okay. We're going to do more of those tapping for the stars soon. But for now... I'm going to wipe the back of my brush off so I don't end up touching my face with it. Oh yeah, good. Yeah, sometimes things look harder than what they are, but it's all about breaking it down. Step by step. Okay, so our orange now should be dry. So you can take some black again, and now you can make your own pumpkin face. So whatever you want to do on there, really, because it's your pumpkin. But basically all I did 2 triangle eyes and then zigzag face. And on this guy, I did a triangle nose. So whatever you have space for, also. Okay, so I'm going to do my triangle eyes. I always put the outline first, however you like. And then I do like zigzag, just up and down face for the mouth. Just a zigzag, like a laying down lightning bolt. Fill in those eyes. Oh, so cute. I'm gonna use my finger on this side so you fill in on top of my orange that I made a mistake on. Because sometimes you can just go around it that way. This is not necessarily a step. I'm just touching up my own work. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing over here. If you have a different kind of face, please feel free to express that. I'm going to make a nose, so just a bunch of triangles And then a zigzag. You can make them come around like that too, if you have the space. There. So it looks like it has teeth. I might actually leave it with orange in the middle. Take a look at your stem too. If you need to go over them, I would do that now. So I'm going to make mine just a little bit brighter and then darker. There. Just went over my stem just so I can see them easier. If you need to do that, you can. And then we have some little grasses to do. You want to clean that brush off from the black. Try to dab it in the bottom and then just wipe it off on your napkin, or get another brush if this one's kind of getting mucky. You're going to need some blue and some yellow out. You're going to do blue plus yellow to make green. So you don't need a lot. Like I have a little bit of blue right here that's still there and wet. So I'm just going to take some of my yellow, place it somewhere. And a little bit of my blue, stir it together, and I have green. But what I'm going to do to my green is I'm going to actually take a little bit of my white, stir it in. It kind of makes it like a minty green. And I find this green's really pretty and stands out nice on the dark colors. Okay, so yeah, blue plus yellow. A little more yellow than blue if it's not quite turning green for you, and then add a little white, and that will really pull out your color to see what you have. And that's when you can put your grasses in. So I put them around the gravestone, kind of go from the ground and pull up. Use the smallest brush and just pull. Sometimes the grasses are taller, shorter, and some of them curve a little bit. Think of the grasses that you see. Cute little grasses. Sometimes I actually take a little yellow. I didn't clean my brush because it's only going to mix, but sometimes I like to highlight the grass. A little bit of yellow on my brush, and it just makes the color even pop out even more. You can put grasses wherever you like, as many or as little as you want. I'm making some kind of grow a little bit in front of my pumpkin just to push the pumpkin into the background a bit. How's your grasses going? I'm putting a little bit by my pumpkin. I like to kind of make him hiding a little bit behind the grass. Well, all we need now is stars. And I noticed too, before we do the stars, I'm not sure if your grave is dark as mine, but I'm noticing that it's not quite standing out the way I want it to. So this is a little side thing that I'm doing here. So if your grave just isn't quite, if it's dark, like too dark that it kind of hides in the background, Put a little bit of your light gray on top because this is going to stand out better, I think, if it's not already light for you. You just have to be careful if you had grass down there. But I'm just going to make mine lighter, so you don't have to. I'm just going to do it just to show you guys in case. So it's not something you gotta do, it's just something you can see if your gray was too dark. Sometimes when it dries, it shows up darker too. So I'm just gonna do that, and then I can always put my squiggles or my words back on later, because that's easy to put back. And then if I had grasses, I just went around them. Or if it's really wet there, then you might just have to wait. My paint was drying quite fast, though. There. See how that stands out so much more? And just put a little bit of down at the bottom. Let me know if you had to do that too. I'm just re-outlining it with some black again, just to shape it. You could always put your squiggles back, so just if you clean your brush, you just put a little bit of squiggles back there. It's easy to put it back. And then R-I-P. You can also write whatever you want. Okay, so that looks like it's standing out a lot better. But basically for stars, you can always go back to the grave after maybe it's still too wet down there. But for the stars, all we're going to do is we're going to do white and yellow mix here. So you're just going to use the back of your brush for this. So just make sure you have some area you can dip in white and yellow. I'm just going to start with white. I'm going to tap my back of my brush into the white paint. And I'm just going to start starring away here, so as many or as little as you would like. Just put them in and have fun with it. This really pulls everything together. Makes your painting stand right out. I could go star crazy and just tap everywhere. I'm doing it like a little bit gentle though, because like if I do it too fast, then I end up smudging it by accident. So I just tap and try not to go too fast. And then you can also wipe off the back of your brush, and you can also put yellow. So you will have some yellow in here. So you could leave space for some yellow spots too. So just kind of showing you white and yellow stars. Just dipping and tapping. Basically I dip, make a couple stars, and then I go back. I did actually give my trees a little bit of like eyes. So like I used the back of my brush and just kind of drew like these like little eyeballs that kind of stick out from the branch. So I just kind of pulled over and over. It's kind of like a bird. Kind of looks like a bird. It's just, I was trying to think of like something spooky coming off the tree. So that's an idea too. Maybe you have your own idea at this point. Maybe you want to add something else in that's kind of spooky that you have space for in here that you could do. I'm excited to see the pictures because then that's when I get to see everybody's creations and their techniques and their ideas that they had, because everybody's different and it's just so cool to see that, how we're all unique in our own ways. There. I think I'm good for stars because I could keep on going with them. Okay, yeah, I'm good. hold it back too. Maybe take a step back from it and be like, do I want more stars in there or do I not? Right? Yeah, the stars are what really pulls everything together because it is a lot of dark colors because it's kind of spooky and it's nighttime. But the stars are what help bring the other colors that we have in this painting and pops it out and makes it appear a little bit brighter. Yeah, and then of course at the end, if you would like to sign your art because you're the artist, you can just use some white or something bright at the bottom. You can put your initials. What I also do is sometimes I take a marker and I write on the side of the canvas my name or the back. Like I'll put my name on the back just so I don't get it. You know, if I didn't want to put my initials somewhere on here, then I sign it somewhere else. But that is all for tonight. So let me know if you have any questions. But otherwise, what I would love to see is your pictures of your paintings tonight. And of course, for those who watch on replay. And yeah, let me know what they look like. I'm so excited. I want to add fall leaves blowing in the wind. Ooh, yes. Great idea, Deb. See, those ideas are coming on and cute. All right. Well, I hope everybody had a great time and enjoyed themselves together or individually. And yeah, you can post the pictures like under this video when it posts, or you can just go right into the event itself and post on there, or just send it to me and then I can share it for you too. If you can't get it to post. The event's kind of finicky. Ooh, a shrike. The event's kind of finicky sometimes because Facebook, like I try to make it so people can post in my event, but sometimes it doesn't let me. So it might not let you. I'm going to take this out of there. There. You're welcome. The next live that I'm doing is in November. I can't remember the date off the top of my head, but if you go into the events, you will see it. And then there's the painting again. And otherwise, yeah, that's going to be a live. It's also like a mystery reveal where I'm going to teach you more of like a winter scenery, because it'll be that time of year, at least here in Canada anyways. Good old snow. Okay, well, you're very welcome. Thank you everybody for watching, and yeah, check out the events for the next free lives and also for another Zoom coming up on November 22nd. I remember that date, as I just made it. I'm doing a cardinal painting class. That'll be on Zoom, and you can paint with me there, and I'll be able to see you and you can see me, and it's just a whole other experience. So yeah, that's coming up in November too, and then anything else that's in person I have on there too. And I will be announcing another class coming up in Listowel where I am, where you can come to Craft It. It's a store in town here, and you can come there and paint with me. So that'll be announcing too. You're welcome. Had a lot of giggles. Love it. So much fun. Okay. And thanks again, everybody, for all the support with the recent painting I made. You guys are so sweet. I was just playing on the weekend, and that came out. So I was pretty happy to see that glorious sunset painting came through. So anyways, hope you're all well, and thanks again for watching. And have a good evening, and a good Halloween. Bye.